So we do have quorum. The only thing is we are waiting for the deputy town attorney. He's on his way. We anticipate a 20-minute wait, so we're gonna wait until he arrives to start the meeting.
Sorry for the delay. Good evening. It is 7:01 p.m., June 4th. I'd like to call the Planning and Zoning Board meeting to order.
I'm gonna go ahead and call the roll. Board Member De La Sierra.
Present.
Board Member Julia.
Present.
Board Member Leoncio is absent. Vice Chairperson Senra.
Present.
Chairperson Fernandez.
Present.
You have quorum.
Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we're going to go right into it and start with the approval of the minutes. Have we all been able to review them?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the motion passes. The minutes will go into the record. Public comments? Anybody in the audience?
So I don't see anybody online, but if anybody here in the public is here for public comments, you have 3 minutes to speak. You state your name and address at the podium, and you can go ahead. I believe these are the two applicants, so.
Okay, perfect. So we will go on to the first item, which is quasi-judicial. Deputy. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
I'd like to read the disclaimer first, if I may. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Please.
So please all be advised that the following items on the board's agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. An opportunity for persons to speak on each of the items will be made after the applicant and the staff have made their presentations on each of the items. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to be either cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the board to ask questions of staff witnesses on their behalf. Persons representing any organization that's going to be speaking must present evidence of their authority to speak for that organization. Any person presenting documents to the board should provide the town clerk with a minimum of 10 copies. Further details of quasi-judicial procedure may be obtained from the clerk. The first item that we have today is VARH 2024-0176, but before we move into the item, Madam Clerk, if you can swear everyone in.
Yes, anybody that's going to be providing testimony on both of the items, if you can please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear to say the truth and only the truth, so help you God? You may be seated.
Mr. Chair, at this time, if any board member has had any ex parte communication with the applicant Lauren Romero or anybody related to this property, this is the VARH 2024-0176. The location is 6931 Bamboo Street, Miami Lakes, Florida 33014. Now would be the opportune time.
I don't think. No,
Okay. Being none, I think we can move forward with the hearing.
Okay, so I think we are now in the section where we hear from town staff.
Hello, it's Olivia Schock from the town of Miami Lakes, representing this item for VARH 2024-0176. This person is seeking 6 variances to build a pool and pergola in their rear yard. They are looking for a variance to allow this pool to encroach beyond the tie line, looking for a variance to allow an attached canopy to project 25 feet and 11 inches into the rear yard where a maximum of 7 are allowed, to allow decking to alter the slope by 24 inches where 18 are allowed, and a variance to allow 293 square feet of decking beyond the tie line where a maximum of 225 are allowed, and to allow the deck area to be set back 5 feet from one of the interior property lines where 7.5 feet are required beyond the tie line. So they're seeking a couple variances. This is on a property that's off of Lake Hilda, so it's a waterfront property, hence having to get it beyond the tie line. We recommended denial for this application. The only item that they meant is what would be item D. The letters are messed up, but the variance can be approved without causing substantial detriment to the adjoining properties, which is the one that it complies with. The other items they do not comply with. Yes.
Which the one that complies is the gazebo?
It wouldn't, no, for complies, it's for, yes, the 13-foot encroachment, for the pool, I apologize. That's the only one they comply with, is that the pool would not really cause detriment to the neighbors around the lake. They have 19.5 feet of uncovered slope beyond that pool, so that's where it wouldn't cause too much detriment there with, as far as the open space, and allowed for pool, for lake maintenance. But for the rest of them, they do not comply.
So, on the first and second variance, isn't that kind of the same situation? Because one is it encroaches 13 feet, and then the other one is just that it goes beyond the top of the line? Is
Yeah,
that
they,
kind-
technically, it's kind of like two variances in one. Because it's from different sections of the code, you technically have to get a variance from each section, but it is about the same pool.
same.
It's just encroaching beyond the tie line in one section and allowing it to encroach 13 feet in the other.
And then the sixth variance, which is the 5 feet and the 7.5 feet, that's only because beyond the slope,
Beyond the tie line, they are allowed, they have to have
7.5.
7.5 feet.
Before that,
Before that, they're allowed to have 5. So it's just, they have 5 continuously there, but technically beyond the tie line, you're supposed to have 7.5.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Ms. Schock? Thank you. I'll start. Well, are we going to first have testimony from, okay,
The applicants, yeah.
come on up. State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Jonathan Cruz, 6931 Bamboo Street. So we're proposing to build that pool past the tie line. We feel that it's not gonna negatively impact the town of Miami Lakes and, obstruct any view from our neighbors. So we would like for you to consider approving our motion for this variance.
To the clerk, do we have letters from the neighbors?
I don't have any, no.
Yes, I have them there.
Do you have 10 copies to provide everyone?
You have to
You have to give the clerk.
Yeah, so there's letters from each of our side neighbors and then from across the lake in the back.
So to that point, I'm most interested in, yeah, like you said, so you have letters of consent or support from the two neighbors that on
Yeah,
both sides?
from our side neighbor and then from across the lake, one
From
neighbor across the lake. Yeah.
Through the chair, I have a question. Is there a covered patio there that's additional to what was originally built?
No, there's no covered patio currently on the property.
Yeah, 'cause
I mean,
noticed that
there's an
a-
area on where the master bedroom is that I guess you can consider a covered area, but it's not really it's not a patio.
It's a flat roof.
It's a gable end roof there. Yeah.
Any of the board members have any questions for the applicant?
Yeah. So, I have a question, yeah. So the pool is that you're proposing is 18 feet wide by 40 because you're incorporating a jacuzzi within that area?
Yeah, correct.
And where it says in your plans, future attached terrace, you're proposing a canopy?
Yeah, so that's a canopy. So what we're trying to do, we're gonna separate the project into 2 phases, the pool now, and then eventually do the attached canopy for an outdoor kitchen.
So the canopy is basically like a non-permanent structure? Or how, like, when you say canopy, is it like
It'll be a covered terrace, outdoor kitchen.
not a pergola?
No, not a pergola. It's gonna be a terrace, a covered terrace.
So, I mean, how do we?
So semantics, but yes, what he means to say, yes, it would be something that would require a permit at some point,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
but he's just not meaning to request any variances for it.
Now he's clear.
So something that would be approved as of right, 5-foot
So
setbacks,
At this
350
time, you're not
square.
requesting a variance for that?
Yeah, I am requesting a variance for that, yeah.
Through the chair, I have a question. You have an area there.
No, sir, you're not requesting variances for your pergola. Am I correct? Is he?
No, he's saying a canopy. That's what I'm trying to define.
Yeah,
What does that
on the
mean?
drawing, there's a covered structure that's protruding out 25 feet, 11 inches.
Right, sorry, yes,
the left-hand
correct.
side.
Yes.
It's a canopy is
my bad.
Sorry.
a fabric? Or what is a
No,
canopy?
it'll be a structure incorporated into the style of the existing home. So it'll have, concrete columns, beams.
It
and-
shows columns and
a roof.
foundations and everything if you look on the page here.
But is it correct in the terms of the language of a variance if we say it's a canopy? Is that what he's actually anticipating building? Because I'm thinking a canopy is like,
So the way that we have been using those words in the code and in the past in other variances, when we talk about a canopy, something attached to the home, which this one is. A detached structure, usually we refer to it as a pergola or as a gazebo. When we talk about a canopy, we usually talk about something that is attached to the home and then has two legs somewhere else.
And the
yes,
roof,
it
and the
may be
material
made-
itself is
Correct,
irrespective?
the material is a separate consideration, so the material may be made out of canvas or not, or metal, or concrete as he is discussing, because you could have a canopy made out of concrete.
Well, to the chair, this is it's a huge pool, big.
Yeah, my kids love big pools.
Well, I think we all do, but sometimes, is there any room for compromising on, what you would like to do? I mean,
Yeah.
if you work with us a little bit, we might be able to, to get somewhere.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm willing to,
Okay.
give some
All right.
so we can pass this.
Yeah, through the chair, I have a question. You have about a 10-foot setback
Correct.
from the house that you're setting the pool back. Would you be willing to make that less of a setback from the house? Because approving 13 feet,
I'd be willing to make it a little closer. I mean, we wanted to have that buffer in between the house and the pool to not have it so close, and to have some sort of a seating area between the pool and the home.
you can make it a smaller pool. You're making a 40 by 18 pool. It's huge, so you can reduce it in other areas.
I'm sorry, can I?
Yeah. State your name
I'll
and
state my name. My name is
address.
Omar Cruz. I'm his dad. But we'll also, I live on 8515 Northwest 169 Terrace, Miami Lakes, Florida, 33016. We also design and have plans for permitting if we can go through with the variance. I want you to keep in mind that most of the houses on those lakes, when he purchased the house was already built to the maximize on the slope on the setback, on the rear setback. So he has no option to build in a terrace. To your question, Mr. De La Sierra, on that little corner on the master bedroom, that was part of the original house. It's a little area, probably 8 by 5, something like that. So it cannot really be considered like a terrace. So the house doesn't have a terrace. I know that it's a big pool, but we're asking to go 40 feet wide on the width of the lot, not going back towards the lake. And we know in the past, some of these situations have come in front of the board, and in some instances, they have been able to obtain an approval. And definitely, if we have to work with you guys, we're willing to do that and see what's the best outcome for
But if you
for
look-
them and for the town.
Through the chair, if you look at the aerials, your pool that you're proposing is way beyond all the other. This pool would start past the most of all the pools that are encroaching already. I'm looking at the aerials.
Your neighbor.
And I can see with the aerials that the pool is encroaching way further, 13 feet, or actually, yeah, it would be maybe 18 feet past.
Because like I
the
said,
existing pool.
when we purchased that house was already built to that setback.
No, I understand, but.
So
you
we're
know,
tight on the room that we have to play without getting a variance.
Right.
Very tight.
Any questions for the applicants?
As a comment, I don't think we have ever approved anything encroaching at,
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I
either.
don't think so.
No,
I
it's
mean,
way out
we haven't
Way-
gone there
it's
yet.
way
there.
out there.
In this case, it's way out there.
Yeah.
It's starting way beyond
yeah.
the original pools. If you look at the photograph there
Oh,
where
yeah.
they're gonna start.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
gonna start
It's
way
further
beyond.
than any other. Yeah.
And I feel bad, but it's the old buyer beware. Before you buy, make sure you can do what you wanna do, you know?
I mean, in order for us to comply and, you know, meet with what it is that, you know, you would feel comfortable with, what would the setback need to be as far as the encroaching past the tie line? Right now, we're proposing 13 feet, so.
I think you went for the fences, right? I mean, you said, let's see,
I
let's
mean,
see what happens,
I
right?
want to give my kids their dream pool, so, you know.
I would say.
I don't blame you.
I would say, that, you know, and I'm not talking for the board, I'm talking for myself here, 6 feet encroachment, you know, because you have 10, so you take 5, then you can get a 12-foot, 11-foot wide pool by the 40 that you're trying to get, but, you know, it's huge.
I have a question for staff, maybe, before. If the issue with the variance of the slope, the lease amount
If
of
you go
variance,
left-
then it would be, perhaps that would
That would take away.
the
Yeah, if
necessity
you
of that.
back off, you
right?
lose one of the requirements, because they probably go to 18 inches
Right.
above the slope at that point, by
Right.
backing it up, so one of the variances goes away.
And the actual, as far as they're going into the slope, not only in height, right?
Right,
Am I right?
in height and
And-
into,
right.
yeah, both.
Wasn't there a pool on Rosewood, I believe, or Cypress that was 12 feet past the tie line that was approved?
I don't know.
It is possible. The thing is that sometimes, when you have a lot, like your house, like your lake sometimes moves around, and then the slope of the line. So sometimes it looks like we're giving a huge thing, but it's not.
Right.
The reality here is what we're looking at is, I mean, I'm sure you've been in your backyard. Where
Yeah.
your house ends is literally where kind of the pools are now. If we move 10 feet there for you to start your 18 feet, you're going into the lake area. I mean, it's just the way it is, what you present.
Yeah, but I believe
I
that
think-
what we're proposing, I'm sorry to
Right,
cut you off.
right.
We're proposing 13 feet past the tie line, not to build the pool starting 18 feet past the tie line. It's,
Right, but you're
13
gonna be
feet.
building the pool, between the deck and the pool, you're 28 feet from your existing end of your house. Now, included in that 18 and that 13, are we also taking into consideration, because it's an infinity edge,
correct.
is that,
That's another 2 feet.
isn't that another 2 feet?
Yeah, but
That's
that's okay,
permissible
that's
anyway?
allowed.
The infinity edge basin is permissible, so it's not included in the variances, but there would be a basin beyond that, yes.
Let me rephrase that so it gets on the record. Yes, the infinity edge, the 2 feet for the infinity edge basin is part of the allowable encroachments of the pool, so that's not, it doesn't require a variance for that to be there.
Right, but in essence, what this is
Correct, but
moving
the
is
total
15 feet, not
encroachment would be an
13.
additional 2 feet, correct.
Because there's gonna be 2 more feet of an
Right.
infinity.
Right.
So that's where it gets a little,
Understood.
So basically, the question is, we have to discuss it, you know, close the hearing and discuss it. You'll have to be sworn in.
no, yeah, I think she raised.
Did you
can
raise
just
your
be
hand?
sworn
Yeah,
in.
she raised her hand.
I'm Lauren Romero. And
She
my
was for
address
name.
is 6931 Bamboo Street, Miami Lakes, Florida, 33014.
I have to swear you in really quick because I
Yes,
don't
go
believe you
ahead.
stood up. May you raise your hand? Do you swear to say the truth and only the truth, so help you God? Go ahead.
Okay. Infinity Edge, we don't have to have that. If
I'm
it's the
good
2
with it.
feet is the problem, we just did that because the neighbor's view would be nicer,
I think so too.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Then, the pool would extend out, yes, but would that obstruct any neighbor's views? Like, it wouldn't make it look bad.
No, we understand your point. I mean, basically, well,
So I know it's not gonna be in line, I'm sorry to cut you off,
right,
with
and
the
and
other
that's what you're trying
pools.
to do, is the green area around the lakes is what is attempted to be preserved as much as possible. And that's
Which we
always
would
been a
still have a
struggle
lot
within the
of.
board to try to accommodate, because I think most of us are like very pro, it's your house, do kind of what you want, and as long as your neighbors don't have a problem, I'm not gonna have a problem. That's the general framework, I think, the way we deal. But honestly, you know, an 18-foot pool, you know, a traditional pool, correct me if I'm wrong, is 15 by 30.
15 by 32.
If
by
you add a
30, yeah.
jacuzzi, that's 15 by 37, 38. So,
Okay, so if we do 15,
right, so that's like one of the things that we would discuss amongst us, I guess, is the appropriate, is what kind of a variance. I think we're open to giving you a variance, to give you flexibility to build. I just don't think at this time, if you tell us, this is what it is, take it or leave it, you may not want that, you know, you may want us to discuss and see what the most that we can feel comfortable. Remember, we're not here to judge you individually. We have to look at the whole community. And as much as I would love for you guys to do whatever, you know, I'm very pro private property, but we do have an obligation to the town. And we have to look, so if everybody starts to like overbuild, then part of the greenery, which is very important for our town historically, and you know, we lose that.
so how many letters do we need?
You know, at some point.
Because my
it's just-
neighbors love the idea.
No, I know, I see that, and that's highly gonna be considered in order to giving a variance, whether, at this point, I'm not comfortable, I'll be honest with you, I'm not comfortable giving a whole 13 feet. You know, somewhere between their 13 feet and the 6 feet, maybe we could discuss amongst ourselves and be as generous as we can to allow you flexibility. And that's the only reason why I was also asking about the canopy. I wanna make sure you guys don't have to come back in the future for like, and I wanted to make sure that a canopy was not, you know, because some of us would think that that's just a canvas. And I wanted to make sure that the code was clear. Whatever variance we do, we give you, this is the variance, and you build whatever works for you that way. If you want to do the infinity or not, it's up to you. You don't need an extra variance for that. Personally, I love infinity pools, but that's, who cares what I like?
Right.
Through the chair, there's another reason that we have the tie line and everything is, if it starts to rain really bad in a hurricane, the lakes fill up. And I've had my lake, because I live on a lake, I've had my lake fill to the tie line.
So have we.
No, and I've been
But
there.
we would still have a slope.
I've been there 43 years in the house, and it happened once in the 43 years. But it happens. It's there to allow the water to go somewhere, not into the houses. That's the reason for that, another reason.
Right. I mean, I've never seen it go that high. We have had some flooding, but it would still have a slope, significant enough for the water to have somewhere to go.
Do we have any other questions for the applicant?
No.
Okay, thank you. We're going to discuss it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So I'll start by saying that six variances give me heartburn. But I think the comment, what we have to look at, and of course, as our deputy attorney has always told us, that each application we look at individually and on its own merits, so we don't compare it to another house, another variance that we gave. I will say that because, and I appreciate Board Member De La Sierra saying that, you know, we also have to consider that the buyer should be aware of what they're buying.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but if we at least can agree that they bought a house that was built, so the footprint goes to as far as they could have gone, so that will limit them in terms of what they could build, what pool they can build. Now, is a pool guaranteed a right for a homeowner? We can talk about that too, but I do think that we all agree that if they want a pool, we should try to accommodate them, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna discuss the amount of feet that we will allow for that. So anybody have a motion to propose?
Well, if they would reduce the area between the house and the beginning of the pool to 5 feet or 6 feet, then we'd have to give them less of a variance
Yeah,
into.
I'm
into
toying with
capacity.
about 8 feet
Huh?
variance, because if they reduce the pool by 3 feet,
Mhm.
then, I mean, I understand you don't want to walk out from your house and fall into the
No,
pool.
no, that's what I'm
and you
saying,
need
it's 5, 6 feet.
That still gives them 6, 7 feet to play with on the deck, if they want to keep a traditional 15 feet wide pool. And then they would still have an 8-foot deck, which is
Which is
not as big as
which is
probably,
plenty.
but I think that still corresponds. I'm trying to look at like the house, and it's kind of hard. The furthest house, that's like, there's 2 houses, 3 houses to the side that has I'm trying to line it up with that one. I'm thinking potentially 8-foot variance.
Say a 15-foot pool wide
Right.
by a 6-foot setback from the house only instead of 10. Then it'll reduce the area,
By 10 feet.
no, by 7. By about 7.
7 feet, yeah.
By about 7 feet, which would also reduce the area where he's gonna have the
The pergola.
pergola.
Yeah, whatever deduction there is between the 13 and what the board is comfortable with, that would be the same reduction in the canopy projecting out, pretty much.
The length of the pool being 40 feet, you can maintain that at 40 feet.
Yeah, that's
not a
not-
problem.
that's the width.
It's just how much encroachment they're doing.
Right.
So, if somebody wants to.
I mean, I'll make a motion to approve a variance. The first variance would be to encroach by 8 feet waterward at the top of the slope of the line. The second variance would be to allow the swimming pool waterward. 1 and 2 are tied together. The third variance would be to allow the attached canopy to project 20 feet and 11 inches into the rear. I don't know if the variance with the slope would still be required if you move it back 5 feet, but since they're gonna be doing an infinity edge, I'm okay with the 6-inch differential there. So I wouldn't touch number 4. Number 5, perhaps the decking would be irrelevant too, because that would be dropped if we move it back 5 feet. And I'm okay with number 6, doing a variance for the 5 feet instead of 7.5 feet. So the main difference is that we're going from 13 to 8.
Right.
And then adjusting everything back.
I would second
would be my
that
motion.
motion.
Yeah.
You guys want to discuss it? Because
It's up, you want to discuss it? Yeah, I mean, I would
I'm
second
good
his
with that.
motion. I think
I'm good with that.
it's agreeable. It's something that gives them a size of a pool that they would want, you know. We can't have you talk unless we open the thing again, sorry.
as you guys want, can I open it back up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make a
Okay.
motion to open it back up.
Okay.
And I'll
Second
second the
that.
motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Get it done.
Aye.
All right, you
Go
can come
ahead,
and
guys.
speak
You
to
got-
it.
We
you
just
can-
reopened the hearing. It's just procedural,
Sorry
not,
about that.
not trying to be rude.
We want it to be right in case there's ever a
So
problem.
what I proposed is, instead of giving you 13 feet,
Okay.
now you have 8 feet, or that's what I'm proposing. What that means is between, the area between where your house ends and your pool starts, you have 10 feet. So you gotta figure out where you're gonna
Yeah,
take
how
out
we
5
wanna,
feet.
right, that's fine.
If it's a little bit in the pool, a little bit on the deck,
Then you're there.
you're there.
Okay.
And that's what I'm proposing.
And you maintained it 40 feet long.
Yeah, and you could do the infinity with the extra 2 feet, because that, you don't need a variance for that, or if you want to or not. I don't want to get in the
I think
middle.
that's it
I don't want to
after
get in the
this
middle of that
I wouldn't
battle.
either.
Not a marriage counselor.
No, it's like he said before, we want people to enjoy their property, but we don't want to allow people to enjoy their property to the detriment of others,
No, no, I understand.
you know, and it's on a one-by-one basis.
Right.
You have any?
Did you want to add anything, or you just wanted to hear what
no,
we were
so-
gonna, okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
we're gonna now take a vote, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So we'll close it here.
Yeah, we're gonna close, I'll make a motion to close the application.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No? Okay, so, Madam Clerk, would you call roll?
Ready to vote?
Yeah.
All right, Board Member De La Sierra,
Yes.
Board Member Julia,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Senra,
Yes.
Chairperson Fernandez.
Yes,
The motion passes.
congratulations.
You got your pool.
Okay, now we will move right into the next variance, which is, where are we at here?
The next matter, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
is another variance. I'm not going to read again the disclosure, as it's already been read, but we'll advise the council, I mean, the
I'm
committee.
sorry, we're missing one, can you call them back, Olivia? Canopy, we haven't discussed the canopy and the encroachment of the,
Yeah, we did. Instead of 25 feet, he reduced it to 20.
Yeah.
He reduced the canopy and everything. And
okay, so you're gonna approve a canopy past the tie line for, can
He
you-
said 20 feet and 11 inches instead of 25 feet.
Okay,
Yeah, we did that. He
Reduced
did.
by 5, yeah.
He did that. So it would be even with the pool with what they're trying to do.
That being said, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
The next matter is VARH 2024-0184.
It's okay.
This is for Juan Carlos
No, it's okay.
Rivero. I would ask if anyone here has had any ex parte communication, that you would disclose that now.
I did not.
No.
Okay, hearing none, we can hear from the town first.
All right,
Excuse myself for one moment.
got my steps in.
Yeah,
But
jogging from one place to the other.
No, it's okay. So anyway, Olivia Schock again for the town of Miami Lakes, for a variance VARH 2024-0184. This is a request to allow a detached pergola to have a 5.5-foot setback from the residence where 10 feet are required. So for this application, this is just a single-family residential property in the Royal Point subdivision. And for this one, originally, we had recommended for in favor with conditions. However, that was on the condition that they were able to provide the letters from adjoining property owners, and they weren't able to bring them in time. So they weren't able to bring them in tonight. So at this time, we would technically have to recommend not in favor, but they do comply with items B, C, and D, that the variance would be compatible with the development patterns in the town, that the essential character of the neighborhood would be preserved, and that it would be approved without causing substantial detriment to adjoining properties.
Thank you.
Questions?
Okay, you have a I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, the only, so the rear setback, according to this, is met. So the only difference
The-
is basically the distance between his home and where he's proposing to start his pergola.
Yes, the rear and side setbacks are met, as well as the square footage requirements. The only variance he has, that is the distance between, again, his home and the pergola.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
Not me.
Would the applicant like to speak? State your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Juan Carlos Rivero. 8255 Northwest 158 Terrace, Miami Lakes, Florida 33016. As we're explaining, we would like a variance to for a detached pergola from the house, and the reason it being it's that we would like to center it with the pool. The way that it is now, it would not be centered with the pool, and it would look very awkward if you started in the middle of the pool, basically. So we're trying to see it to center it with the pool.
Thank you. Anybody have questions for the applicant?
You have fences on either side of the property now?
Yes, there's concrete all
Surround.
around, all three sides, and fences
Surrounding.
and fence in the front.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you.
I believe it's 12 by 12, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This one is definitely less heartburn.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah,
I
I
could-
think it's 12 by 15, the pergola.
Is it 12
Yeah, 12 by 15. At the roof area.
I guess for discussion purposes, I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll
I'll
second.
second. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No?
You can second.
I'll second that motion. Does anybody would like to discuss?
I don't really see an issue because it's basically the same size of the pool, and it's
Yeah.
got fences on either side. And I'm looking also again at the
The neighbor.
overheads,
Uh-huh.
and there's hedges that he has growing on the actual fence, so it's
Oh,
not gonna
nice.
be seen, it's not gonna create an issue that I see.
Well, the neighbors have
And it
no
looks
issue
like that
either.
area of the home is not even where the terrace is at, so I'm sure that that's just a wall area there that.
Okay, I think we're ready to call roll.
Call a roll. Board Member Julia.
Yes.
Board Member De La Sierra.
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Senra.
Yes.
Chairperson Fernandez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Have a good night. I think, any report from manager, staff,
Stop.
our next board meeting?
We are not having a board meeting in July due to the holiday and most likely people being out. We will be meeting August 6th.
Awesome.
August.
Yes.
I'll see everybody then.
Sounds good.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you. Don't worry about it, buddy.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, we don't mind waiting on